Hey, welcome to my channel. This video is a VOD review I did with one of my students. If you would like to get a VOD review for free, just go into the description of this video so we can get one started. Any rank, any role. I would love to help. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Enjoy the show. So, the first thing I want to talk about was when we actually killed the Mbessa here. So, there was two options that you could have taken after you killed the Mbessa. The first option was push in the wave, and then back. And then the second option was actually don't push this wave in and let it push into you. Let me actually hear from you. What was your reason for pushing this wave?
My logic is on mid lane, normally if you wanna base, you know, just shove the wave and base.
Okay.
So in my mind, I was like, I'll shove it and base. And I was thinking with respawn time, I think at the time I don't know why I didn't account for TP. In hindsight, thinking on it, she has TP, so I'm actually just letting the wave freeze on her side. But I guess in my head, I was just thinking, I'm just going to shove the wave. By the time she gets back, the wave will reset to neutral because the tower will have fixed it for me, and I can just base and come back. But yeah, I should have just honestly, I think what I should have done is just slow pushed it, and then based.
I would not slow push it. I would. So, both options are okay with fast pushing in the wave or just going for a back, because this wave is obviously going to push back into you. There's more minions on her side. It'll obviously push back into you. There's one little difference. You would have gotten tier and your book if you did push in the wave, and if you didn't, you probably would have had tier and boots or whatever, because you wouldn't be able to have both. This actually didn't kill, so pushing in this wave actually kind of helped the Mbessa, because it did actually freeze on you, because you didn't push it in all the way. It actually stopped right here.
Oh, I see. So should I have pushed in this next minion wave on top, and then it would have been fine?
Honestly, you're just gonna have to cut your losses at this point and just back, because Mbessa's just gonna come kill you. So you might as well cut your losses and let this freeze, because you're gonna lose this, and you're just gonna have to take this entire wave, and you're gonna just have to lose it. But if you didn't push in this wave, you wouldn't lose this entire wave. She would be forced to TP. She was already forced to TP, but she'd still be forced to TP, and you wouldn't lose this entire wave, and you would be a little bit ahead. But if we just look after she actually clears this wave and you lose this whole entire wave, you can see that it's actually quite even between you two. She has 1424, you have 1434, even though that you have an assist on top. Next time, you can just think about not pushing in a wave if the wave is pushing into you. It's just, you know, it'll screw her over even more. And yeah, but this is a top lane thing. I don't know if that's going to really correlate too much, but if this ever happens again, you can think about it again. Any questions about that?
No, that makes sense. Like, the main question I have is, like, if that differs in mid, because if I get, like, a solo kill mid or assist in mid, most of the time I feel like I can just shove the wave and not worry about it. Do I need to worry about freezing more on mid? Like, I feel like I can still do it, but it's harder on mid to freeze, I think.
No, yeah, you don't really have to worry freezing about mid lane, because the lane is so short, it's really hard to start a freeze. It doesn't really happen in mid lane, because it's really hard to start a freeze, because the minions come in so quickly, and it's like the lane is so short, there's no reason to freeze in the first place, for the most part.
Yeah, because it's easy to get the CS. If you're playing anyone with range, you can still catch the CS even if it's close to that tower.
Yeah.
The freeze is anywhere near as strong. Okay, got it. Makes sense.
Next thing we're going to talk about is a little bit about the matchup and how we should use our E, because there were some times where you actually held on your E, you did a good job, you kept your E, which is super, super important, because that's the only way you're ever going to get out of a trouble situation when Mbessa jumps on you.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't do that. And it's really bad. It was really bad when you did it. You did it 3 times in this game. You just don't use your E aggressively, at least in this matchup. It's just no point to use your E aggressively, because if you do miss it like this, you get chunked hella hard.
Yeah,
she takes your flash, and now you guys are equally HP because of that one E that you just missed. And you could just poke her with Q, maybe even use her W. I wouldn't even use my W either, but, you know, just keep your E. That's the only way you can stop her from doing anything to you. And then, again, we're going to look at it again, because it happens again.
Oh, no. Oh, not the 1v2.
It happens again where you E'd earlier, so you E around here. I think you were using it aggressively or to push. I don't exactly remember. Yeah, you did use it aggressively and also to push. But now, since you have no E, you have no W, you need to respect this guy. You need to respect them.
Yeah.
You just need to back off, like, immediately. Just go super far back. There's no reason to be close anymore. The wave's going to push in or it's going to freeze, but you just need to wait for your cooldowns so you can push in the next wave and hopefully, you know, Abessa doesn't jump on you. And honestly, I don't really like Taliyah in the top lane because she can be run down pretty easily. I don't know. What is the reason why you went top lane here? Is there any reason?
Honestly thought my matchup into Ambessa is probably easier than my matchup into Lux, and I don't mind taking. I feel like I was better like pushed against the Ambessa than I would be against the Lux. I was like, okay, I can let my KO go scale against the Lux. It makes no difference to him.
I would say
just thought the Taliyah Ambessa matchup was better for Taliyah than the Taliyah Lux matchup. So we just swapped.
I would agree that the matchup is better, but the problem is the lane. The lane is a big problem when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Ambessa is really good at running people down because she has so many dashes, and she has a lot of, basically 4 or 5 abilities, rather you just have 2 or 3. You have 3 abilities while she has goddamn 4 or 5 because of all of her dashes and whatnots. That's why it's just not good for Taliyah to be in the top lane with certain characters. Even though the matchup is good, with certain characters, it could still be terrible because this long-ass lane that it's really hard for you to run away from. If this was mid lane, you don't have to worry too much about it.
What I was going to say is, like, my logic was, oh, I'm going to shove the wave in, then she's going to force hit the CS, and then I can pressure her while she's CSing. But, like, she can just all-in me. So
Exactly.
It's just not the right mindset there.
Yes.
Like, if I could shove the wave with just Q, then I guess it's fine, right? But if I have to use my only thing that stops her getting on top of me, then I'm, like, trolling, because she can just all-in me, right?
Yes, exactly. Because your cooldowns are down. And since your cooldowns are down, or you have cooldowns, you have only Q up, she has her whole kit, she can burst you down, and you just lose a trade for free, basically.
Yeah.
So, respect your cooldowns. Just respect them. Okay, there's one thing that you do a lot. It's, honestly, this is not a mid lane thing, this is a top lane thing. You start shoving in the way for Ambessa and making your life extremely miserable. At this point in time, you can't fight this Ambessa anymore, and she is further ahead than you. She's already 1,000 gold on you. In top lane, when someone is ahead, we just let them do their thing. We want them to push in the wave to us, but you start using abilities on the wave, and you're just basically helping Ambessa accomplish what she wants. Which she wants the wave to push into her so she can have the wave here and run you down. Like, that's her, that's what she wants. But since you're using so many abilities on the wave, you're gonna see, you can hold this wave. Like, this wave you could hold, but you shove it in with your Q.
Yeah.
And then the next wave, you do it again. You start literally using all your abilities on it, and this automatically starts shoving into her, which is making your life miserable. You can see how she's barely even using abilities on the wave, and she just used a Q only on one minion, and then she's gonna Q this one, and it's like basic CSing, but you're already ahead in minions, or you're going to be because you're gonna Q this whole 3 cannons in the back in a second, and it's gonna automatically shove towards you or shove towards her, and that just, and she's like bringing it to her to make it worse for you. So that's this is a top lane thing, but you know.
I think at the time I was thinking she's gonna go take grubs so I can shove the wave and then base. But like, if I don't have the vision, I guess I just need to leave it, right? I just need to just take the wave and freeze it where I can on my side and then play in the tower, right?
Yep,
and accept that I might drop some CS accordingly, but better to get CS safely than to have to walk into her side and then maybe the Nunu walks up and ganks me, and then she gets an even bigger lead, right?
Yep.
Makes sense.
Again, you're going to start shoving the wave into this Ambessa for free. You're just giving her this stuff for free. You're gonna start queuing the wave.
Yeah, like, I'm just shoving it for no reason. I think the reason I was shoving it was so I was scared, like, oh, if the wave is in the middle, I have to walk up and then she can fight me. Whereas if I just shove the wave and then let it go, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if I'm shoving it, then she should just freeze it on her side, and I'm twice as like scared as I would have been, right? Whereas if I can just take the wave in the middle, I'm doing whatever. Sure, I might drop some CS, but I'm not gonna be frozen on, right? So.
Yeah, she could have just froze you right here, but she didn't. You got lucky, I guess. I don't know. She could have just frozen you right there. I'm just gonna show you one more thing. It's the same thing. There's a way to obviously stop this. One is don't use your abilities on the wave. Try to CS the best of your capabilities. The wave. So there's a quick tip on minions, and it doesn't show it in the replay, sadly. But when you click on a minion, there is a buff that they will get if one of the laners are ahead. So it'll say like 2%, and then it'll say like minion. It'll like have like a minion icon. It means that the wave will automatically always push towards you as long as the wave is more neutral, because
it's doing more damage.
League tries to help you get out of this sticky situation that you're trying to put yourself in. So at this point in time, you would have that. So all we gotta do is you're just in Bess's bitch at this point, you know. We just gotta let her do her thing, and we'll just CS easily, you know. That's all we can do.
Makes sense.
And we can also do another thing, which is right after this wave, just hold these 2 minions, and you just take them out for free. Just hold them, you know, you just hold them right here. It's 2 minions, you're level 12, they're not going to kill you, or they're not going to do a lot of damage to you, so you just hold them right here. And this can force Mbessa to step up even more, and obviously you'll be safe under your tower, so she can't really do much to you.
Yeah, even if she always been to tower, right, it's an easy W.
Yeah.
Tower shots, and she probably dies with a Q, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess the only time it would ever make sense, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but like, the only time it would make sense to shove the wave or take those 2 minions is if my jungler wants to go take whatever it is, Herald or the second grubs. I don't know what the timer is.
Yeah,
Herald,
if you want to roam or something, yeah, you would just shove in the wave.
But there's just no point otherwise.
Cool. Any more questions about that?
It sounds like the nature that this whole like first part is, hey man, like if you're behind, just slow, just take the wave slow, don't shove it in every time.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to. Yeah, understanding how to play behind is people have ego, and it's hard to not listen to your ego, and we're literally gonna talk about that right next, because I feel like your ego showed a little bit. I mean, it shows a little bit for the next 2 things we're gonna talk about in this game. Ego is a bitch, and it's going to get you killed again. So here is what's going to happen. This is your stupid ult. We're not going to talk about the stupid ult. You missed it. Whatever. You messed up. Whatever. But at this point in time, cut your losses, dude. Don't do this. You know? It's like, she gets this tower. It's fine, bro. You guys getting a drag bot lane. It's like, you're playing weak side here. We can just let her have this. If this was actually like a pro game, your weak side here, this Nunu would come top, this Corki would come top, you would get dove here anyways, and it's like, you just sit right here. You just sit under your tower, wait for this wave to push in, and you don't have to do all of this. You'll get this minions, she takes the tower for free, and it's not like you're gonna kill her, you know?
Yeah, and especially if I'm not like tracking that I need to flash or ult, like I'm just cooked.
Yeah, you're just
I don't know why I thought, yeah, I can get there in time and I can clear the minions before she'll get there. Like, no way. I'm on weak side anyway, right?
Yeah, you are weak side.
It's completely useless.
If you ulted there, you would have saved the wave and saved the tower, but it's like, it's okay to lose like your first tower if you're further behind. It's like, when you lose your first tower being behind, it's actually quite good for you, because the wave will automatically always start pushing further into you, because this tower is gone, meaning you can sit back even further, meaning more of your team can start coming up, you know? So it's better technically to let the tower die, honestly. It's no point to let it to save it at this point.
Right, makes sense. And then I can just like slow push it when it reaches my tower, it gets close, and then it's kind of pretty much frozen there, you know? It slowly makes back way to neutral, but yeah, there's a level gap, I guess it just naturally stays in the middle where it should be near me.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
Cool.
Exactly. Another ego thing.
Oh no.
There's no reason, absolutely zero reason, to push up after this wave. And honestly, you shouldn't have fast pushed it anyways. This gets you killed immediately. It's like, there's no reason to push this wave in. You're going to, well, yeah, pushing this wave in is fine, because the Mbessa will come up here and try to stop the wave coming in. There's no way there's no reason for Mbessa to freeze the wave anymore. So she's gonna honestly always shove in the wave for you. So you just clear this wave, sit under tower, or go into the jungle. Maybe go with your Vi, but you're pushing up too far, and it gets you self-killed. And
yeah, I remember thinking like, oh, she might be in the bush. Let me go walk down and ward it. The moment I ward it, she's down. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just cooked. But the real point, right, is just why shove it? There's just no point. Like, we're not doing anything with it, so it's just no point.
Yep. All right. There's no questions about that, right?
No, I mean, the only question I have is, like, would it have been worth to just shove it and then maybe even look to roam? I guess, like, given I've got 3 people looking at the core key, is it really worth roaming if I know those 3 people can collapse on the core key?
Yeah.
Like, is it better to roam down and get an assist versus just trying to CS under tower, or?
Well, she first has to clear this wave, but it's like, you can roam. I would say it's not, like, going to be terrible, but you do need to make it back in time for the next wave. You do have TP, and I don't know if you had your ult.
It'd be back soon enough, I think, right?
You did not have your back. You didn't have your ult, but you had your TP, so you can technically still, come down to this fight and then TP back into lane, because she still needs to shove this wave in. And it's like, even if when you start even doing this roam, you can see that, oh, Mbessa's shoving the wave, okay, so I just have to go back immediately. And this Corki's probably going to die anyways, and you don't get an assist, but whatever. An assist is like 50 gold, it's not going to get you anything. A wave is worth like 120, so you might as well just go for the wave. I'm a little confused. I was a little confused on your thought process on... So, you guys got Baron like a while ago. Let's see how long ago. You still have like half of it left, so you have like a minute or 2 left. I'm kind of confused after you shoved this wave in on why you went mid here. Did end up making you guys win the game, but it's like, this is the thing. You can just sit down here bot, You can just keep pushing. Because you have Baron, and because you have 2 other tools that helps you roam. You have your ult and your TP. So, obviously, you going mid actually, helped your team. You guys got into a fight and it helped you win. It's still like the better option is still push bot, keep pushing, TP for the fight if a fight breaks out, and then it'll make your life even better. Like, scenario, if it's like, 25 minutes in the game, you guys don't have that long death timers, you guys still have, like, let's say this tower and this tower up, it's like, just push bot, and then TP for the fight. It'll be just better because they'll have 1 less wave to push in because they have to get all the way over here just to take out this tower. Well, that is all I have for this game because you guys just end the game because you went mid and you guys won the game, which yeah. This one I don't think I really had much. At least for the late game, there wasn't really much to talk about. It was just the late game was just fight after fight after fight after fight, ARAM after ARAM after ARAM. It's just like there's just not much to talk about the late game except one time where you guys got Baron, and I want to talk about that. But yeah, we're gonna first talk about, I know it's like very nitpicky and it might not matter in the grand scheme, but it's like you just cleared. So Veigar arrives in lane late, and also he arrives in a very stupid way. And in my eyes, it felt like you just let him do this. You just walk up here, you just walk up to here, you don't let him have this. You just auto him right here,
Yeah,
and
I can even see him when it comes
you
to
didn't,
CD, right?
I don't think you did have your Q, but it's like you just auto him anyways. Let's see if you did have your Q. Yeah, you didn't have your Q, but like you just auto him here. You auto him twice or 3 times because those autos start stacking up in the early game. And it's just like, you should just punish him for trying to CS for free and taking this weird, stupid, whatever. Because if you start autoing first, you win this fight. If this guy tries to fight you, you win this fight no matter what. I want to talk about a little bit on this, like, what was your mindset in this, like, game and in this just in this game and in the lane? What did you want to do?
So my main mindset is like, I know Veigar and Sion are going to scale like crazy. I mean, I don't know what the Sion's going to build, but presumably he can scale pretty crazy, and obviously the Veigar will too. So my mindset was, I need to try and get an advantage in lane as quickly, like ideally as quickly as possible, but the more advantage I can get, the easier it is to snowball. and then hopefully look for roams there and kind of end the game before it gets too late, right? And then the Veigar super scales.
Yeah.
So that was my main idea. That's why I think I went for quite a few adventurous W's to just try and catch him. But that was and then obviously like try and avoid whatever he's hitting me with, just so I don't give him more stacks. So that was kind of it. So I was like kind of happy to go because if he goes with me, then my mindset is he's not going to be able. He's going to find it harder to stack, phenomenal evil stacks, and that's kind of okay as long as I'm CSing well.
Yeah.
That was kind of it.
Yeah, I mean, that mindset isn't bad. I just want to say it isn't the best plan though. Obviously the plan is okay. That plan is definitely okay. You want to get an early lead in your lane, but just a little venture. Just a little venture. We got this whole map we can play. We can go down here. We can go up here. We can roam, and your champion is really, really, really good at it. You do it a couple of times, but it wasn't like the perfect roam. It was a roam where Veigar kind of followed, or it was a roam where it wasn't. It's the perfect roam is where we shove in a wave and Veigar is stuck in the mid lane, and we can do whatever the hell we want. We could follow our Vi into the enemy jungle. We can do whatever. You can do so much things when you have this wave advantage and wave tempo, because Veigar is stuck, and when he is stuck, you can be so much more aggressive everywhere else, and that type of thing starts stacking up, and it doesn't matter how good the Veigar is CSing in lane, you can get everyone else in your game ahead, and the game's going to be over in 20 minutes, so he can't even do anything after that. I was going to talk about how you can push in waves a lot faster if you just keep autoing the minions, because you're not constantly autoing the minions, you're just autoing them for like last hitting, and that's basically it. But we can just keep autoing the minions, and that'll automatically always help you shove in the wave, as long as Veigar is not doing the same thing. So you can actually use less mana when you're just autoing, You just auto the wave more and more and more, and then Veigar, even if he's using a lot of mana, it doesn't matter. You're not using mana, and that puts you in even a better position and whatever. So you can actually start autoing a lot more if you're in a matchup like this, in like a ranged matchup, or in a matchup where you feel like you can kind of bully him in lane. You can just constantly shove in a wave and just use your autos to shove in waves, because you don't need to use your mana unless you want to either poke him or you want to like shove in a wave so you can back or something like that,
Got it. That makes sense.
We're actually going to talk about this moment right here. You obviously want to get the hell out of here. And I don't know if... Yeah, I think you do know that. You want to get out of here because you want to back, because you're out of mana, you're out of HP, you're not going to do anything in this fight. What are you going to do to this driver? And absolutely nothing. And now you're stuck in lane, shoving an extra wave. And this is bad, because the back that you could have gotten if you just went to go back would have been amazing, and the back that you take later on now is worse. And it's like, you could just communicate with your Vi. I know you're in a Clash game, so communicate with your Vi if you want to back, and just say, hey, I need to back here, let me back, don't fight the Jarvan, because she doesn't need to. There's no point to fight the Jarvan. And then if it's not a Clash game, ping your Vi to back off or whatever, just don't follow them. You need to make sure that you are okay with what you're doing. So you just go and back, because you're not going to help her at all. You're not going to auto the Jarvan, and what's going to happen? Nothing, basically. So, because you could have taken that really good back where you shoved in the wave, you almost killed the Veigar, and Veigar needs to walk back into lane or TP back into lane or whatever. But now that you have a worse back, you're going to see that this back is 100 times worse, because you couldn't shove in this wave, and also the Veigar did stop your back once, which is terrible.
Oh yeah, he just walks up. Yeah, I should have just walked deeper in. That's fine.
Yeah,
but still, I've still given up the back where back at the same time, but I have my wave shove and he's dropping minions. Plus, either he TPs and he loses waves, or either he TPs and doesn't lose a wave, but loses TP, or I can just walk back and it's no big deal, right? So
exactly, because like he'll TP to this next wave, and first, and even better for you, this is a cannon wave that came in. Or it was before this, actually. No, before this it was not a cannon wave. It's like this: if this guy TPs, and then you're already backed. You should already be backed here. If this guy doesn't fast push this wave in, you're gonna come in back in time without even needing to TP. So you can actually have TP advantage here. But if he shoves this in, you just add the TP and cut your losses. But it's like you can actually get an advantage here if you just took that really good back, but now you don't have it, and you don't have that TP advantage anymore. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna talk about is you need to start making a little bit better decisions. There's some decisions that you make that kind of gets you killed, and kind of it's not good for you. I wouldn't say it's also not good for your team because you're gonna die, but even though, you killed Vygar earlier and, you could probably fight him and maybe win, you still need to treat this man as a threat. And you don't treat his potential as a threat. He basically just gets you killed because you didn't treat him as a threat, and he cages you, and then you just die because of it. But there is no decision to go for this dragon. You want to go help this Vi for this dragon when she's clearing or not help Vi for the dragon, but help her after she gets caught from this pink ward. In this point, when we see that Rel's walking down there, we don't know where Kaisa is. This Vi, now we see Kaisa's W. This Vi is dead. We just stop walking. We just consider her dead. We're not going to be able to help her. And I don't know why the Vi didn't even flash or do anything, but we just have to cut our losses. But you going this way is very like aggressive and just really bad, because Vygar, all he's got to do is click one button, cage you, and all these people now can collapse on you. They all just come here and collapse on you, basically. So
there's no point trading myself for my Vi, right? If it was her mistake that's ultimately going to cause her death, there's no reason for me to trade my life for her. It's like, what's the benefit?
Yeah, exactly. So he ease you, and now you are dead.
I honestly just didn't think his ult would do that much damage, but in hindsight, I'm a squishy Talio with no magic resistance. Like, he's going to kill me.
Yeah.
If I wanted to walk, I mean, like, obviously in hindsight, my Vi's dead anyway, but let's say, like, there isn't a Rel and a Isa walking up. Would it have made sense to just walk around, like, through my jungle, as opposed to walking through the bush, just to walk the other way around?
Yeah, walk this way. Yeah, just walk this way. It's like, she's walking towards this way anyways. You can see that, she's walking this way. Yeah. This, I mean, it's, I guess, a shorter path in the beginning, but at the end, it's actually a longer path, because she's going to be starting to run this way probably, and this actually would have been shorter. But it's, you just walk over here. You just keep yourself safe while you're doing this. In other circumstances, obviously, you can still walk this way. But in this one, no, don't walk this way. Vygar cages you, he can kill you.
Like, if I had like full prio, let's say I just hard shove before he can kill most of my minions, I guess it would make sense.
Oh yeah, exactly.
He's walking at me or he's dropping minions, but if it's completely neutral, then I'm playing in his effective range, right? And then I'm trolling.
Yeah, you guys, at this point in time, you guys are on equal footing. There's no reason for Vygar to stay in lane. There's no reason for you to stay in lane. And now you're basically fighting for this 50-50 control of trying to go for this thing or help what's going on over here. And it's like, it's so much better if a wave is shoved in, because Vygar has to stay here. And if he does stay here, then maybe you can save her or not. But if he doesn't save her, he just wastes his time and he doesn't get any CS.
Yeah, I'm not forcing him to like make a trade-off, right? So
exactly.
We're both doing our own thing.
Give him a trade-off. Don't give him a easy roam. This is an easy roam for him. He can do whatever he wants. Yeah. What is going on here, dude? Why is this happening right now? It's like, I understand this isn't like this is not your fault. This mostly is not your fault. This is your fault with your team. It's like, this should not be happening right now. There's 4.
Like, why is my Jhin walking?
Why is there these many people down here? What is going on? Look what's going on the other side of the map, dude. There's 2 objectives. Like, this should never happen in like a real game, or at least in a pro game or whatever. It's like, this is considered weak side. There should only be 1 person down here with the Scion. Anivia, Vi, Jhin should all be top side with the Yone, going for those objectives, but whatever, it happens. But it's like, Jiren gets a free Herald, and you guys don't even, like, this is just A-ramming. You guys are just, like, 50-50ing this fight, and it's like, what is it, a trade? Yeah, it was a trade.
Quick question about, like, roaming, because I don't fully understand, one, what makes a good roam, and two, when I'm meant to roam. Because, like, obviously my roaming opens up when I'm level 6, right? Because that's when I have my ult. But the ult is, like, lengthwise so short that I feel like I get through halfway through River with my ult. So I feel like I'm naturally going to drop waves, right? If it takes me time to set up, or I've got to let my bot lane, for example, let the wave push into them to find an angle, then I'm dropping more than one wave. So, like, how do I think about when it's conceptually, like, the right value to roam in terms of, like, it being worth it for my team? Because if I'm going to drop a wave getting back, or, you know, if I don't have TP, then is it good to roam then? Oh, and, like, I guess my other question is, does it make more sense to roam kind of in the mid-game when things are meant to be a little bit more opened up, as opposed to kind of, like, you know, the, I guess, like, 1 to 7 levels of laning?
I mean,
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. It makes sense. But what I was going to say is, when we're in the early game, roaming, so early game is very different type of roaming between mid/late game. In the early game, in order to get a roam off, you need to, so we're saying level 6. Level 6 is where we hit a good amount of wave clear. What we have to do is shove this wave as soon as it hits the middle of the wave. Shove this wave immediately, as fast as possible. That's what we need to do. We need to shove it fast as possible, because the reason for this is because it doesn't matter where this wave is. It matters where the next wave is. That's what causes you to come back into lane.
Yeah.
Or at least the next 2 waves, because it's like Veigar needs to push in the wave, because once the minions hit the tower, you still have a bunch of time. It only becomes bad, your roam becomes bad when the wave finally hits your tower, because now that's when you start losing CS, because obviously the wave will always bounce back to you. But that's why roams feel kind of bad, is because you're probably not shoving them really hard in, because that's what needs to happen. You need to shove them super far in, and then you can use your ult to go into a lane. So you go like midway in the river, ult into a lane, and then immediately after you get a kill or you get a trade of kills, like maybe Yone dies, you either need to immediately shove this wave in to help the Yone, or and then, you know, the Yone comes down here mid, or you need to immediately go back into your lane.
Okay.
It's
like I guess if I'm forced to base, let's say it's like you know, the gank is kind of good, but I still take damage. If I'm forced to base, then I guess I have to TP you, right? To try and get back to lane.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
It's like you it's still an advantage. It's still an advantage that you get a kill there, but it does, you know, obviously now Veigar has TP advantage, but he has to use it smart. You know, he has to use it smart. If he doesn't use it smart, then his TP doesn't matter.
And I guess it kind of gets easier for me, right? The more levels I have in my ult, because if I'm at, you know, level 2 and 3, especially, you know, 2 but also 3, the speed at which I can roam is so much quicker, right? So the moment I shove the wave in, I can ult down, or I can start walking, ult, so I cut them off tower, easy peasy. You know, it's a pretty easy kill, and I can get back much faster.
Yes.
So I guess, like, I can think more, maybe, I mean, just to start off with, obviously that's not the pure mentality, but I guess to begin with, maybe I should think a lot more about, you know, when I'm early game, when I don't have like 2 points in my R, I can look mostly for roams where I can, you know, maybe closer towards the jungle objectives. And then obviously I can make my way down if I think I've got a really good shove and go for a lane. And then as the game gets longer and longer, my ult gets stronger and stronger, then I can maybe look for better ganks. Does that make sense? Is that a good way of thinking about it?
Yeah, that makes sense, but it's a little bit different in the mid game, because in the mid game we're not laning anymore. Usually around when you hit level, what, like, we'll say like 10, not even 10, maybe like even earlier. It just depends on how high the rank is. But when you hit mid game, usually you'd be in a side lane, and there is 2 different things, 2 different strats that you have as a side laner. Is 1, you catch waves in this section, which is your quadrant, which is your part of the map, because this is your part of the map. And then after you do that, you start roaming, because after you do this type of shove, this wave will automatically push down their quadrant, and if nobody takes this wave, it'll crash into their tower and they lose all those minions. Obviously, you're going to lose CS also because you didn't shove it all the way into their tower, but that is okay at that point. In this point, it's like that is okay sometimes. But that's one thing you can do if you want to start roaming, which is get your quadrant, get your gold that is on your side of the map, and then that's when you can start roaming for stuff. Or there's another thing, which is split pushing, and a split push begins right when we hit the middle mark, and that's like when we're actually going to their tower with the minions. This is a different type of pushing, and this style is actually, I think, really good for Taliyah, because Taliyah has so many options to escape, and also she has really good wave clear, and she can actually have some pretty good 1v1 capabilities. But what a split push does is it puts them in a worse situation if certain things happen. So let's say nobody matches you and you start your split push. Cool, you take a tower for free. And these towers, by the way, are 675 gold. That is worth 2 kills. But that's one option that can happen. The second option happens, a person matches you. And what does that mean? You have so much more time to roam, and this guy is stuck here.
Yeah, like I can just fully cheat the prior, right? I have prior by virtue of I shove one wave, or they take a wave, I ult and I'm gone. So they have to take another wave so I can shove, walk up, whatever they got to do to take the wave, and then they've got to come follow me. Or they give up the wave, and I've just cheated a wave out of them. Right?
Yeah, so they need to finish CSing in this entire thing. If they don't finish CSing, it is still going to push into them.
Got it.
And then a third option is, a third option is nobody comes to you, you can still roam.
Yeah. It's
like, even if nobody comes to you, they're still losing all these minions. The wave is going to start pushing back into you, meaning that you're going to have a buttload of CS back here again. And, you can still TP for the fight and maybe still win it. So that puts it does a double whammy on them, and it kind of screws them over.
Got it.
So
is it? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything else. I don't think.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, if let's say I'm like really far behind, or I'm like, I don't know, I have no vision in there, and I'm on weak side. Does it make sense to try and like freeze the wave on my side, like I guess kind of where those minions are on the screen right now? Just to freeze it there, then I can guarantee my CS, or guarantee I'm not having to walk past my quadrant if I'm not comfortable walking. Or do you think it's better to just shove and then try and roam even if I'm not that strong?
I think it's better to shove here and then just roam. Just roam. It's better because at this point in time, if you're super far behind, you are accomplishing nothing being here except getting yourself some gold that you need, you know? This is your job right now. Collect the gold that nobody's collecting. That is your job when you're going here. But your main job is to support whoever is carrying you. That is your main job at this point. Whoever has the most kills, follow them to the ends of the earth after you complete your quadrant, you know?
Cool. Makes sense.
Yep. You totally disregarded the option, so you guys A-rammed a little bit again, but we're not gonna worry about that. Yeah. But after this, you actually do the right thing, and you go bot side, and you clear your wave. And at this point in time, you're not super far ahead, and you're not super far behind. You're actually, I would say you're pretty decently in a good spot. You're actually like 500 gold on him. But in this context, this is when we can ask a question on, can we split push?
Yeah.
Because this is actually a perfect opportunity to split push. You are playing weak side. All your team is probably gonna like collapse over this way, and it means that the team can force this. You push down this wave, and then you can TP for fight. You know, it's the same thing as I was talking before. It's like this forces something from the enemy team, giving them only two options. They have the option of A, losing a tower, or B, going to this, coin flipping a fight, and then maybe even losing, you know? So we can absolutely destroy them, because this is the thing, we have our ults, we have our TP, we have so many options that make us so much better at doing the split push right now. But you just totally disregard it, and I don't know if you were ever thinking about split pushing as Talia, but you can. It is definitely possible as a mid laner to still split push. But
yeah, I've always thought like, oh, her tower damage is pitiful, but I guess I'm only ever thinking like when I don't have grubs, 1 and 2, it doesn't matter if my tower damage isn't that good, because I'm still putting pressure on the map.
Exactly.
Right? It's not the worst pressure in the world. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, it does. So. You know, it is better if you have a better better champion that takes better towers faster and stuff like that. It is better technically, but you can still do a lot of pressure just by shoving in waves, because they lose things. They lose things when they're not coming to you. And it's like, if let's say that you guys don't even want to fight this rune as Otacon, you guys can just chill around here, just chill around this top side, and you can still continue doing what you're doing, and then maybe these guys can move mid, and then we can just run down the base this way, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, there's so many options when we do there's so many things that can happen when we do a split push that can make the enemy's life absolutely miserable. And yeah, so every time we do something like this and we're not like super far behind, think about split pushing. It actually might be really good here. This is where I have a problem. There is no reason to push up aggressively right now. You bait yourself. Yep. You're just baiting yourself right here, and you're gonna see that you after a little more happens here. You know, you can help clear the wave and stuff, but after this, after Sion dies, this actually is really good, because now you guys are even. It's a 4v4. Because the Sion's dead. And all we gotta do is we just gotta chill and wait for our Yone to come back up. We don't go into their jungle, okay. We just sit under our tower, or we move to a different part of the map. But we do not push up aggressively, because this is what happens when we push up aggressively. We die.
Oh no.
Because it's like,
I don't know why I thought, yeah, we can take that, but no, I can just wait for my Yone, and I can let my Vi finally engage first, or my Yone.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm trying to push first, but I don't need to. My goal is to come second, basically, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not supposed to engage. You're not an engaged champion. Yeah. And it's also like, there's no reason to start this fight, because it is a 4v4, and we want to make an advantage around the map where someone is like pushing down here, or someone's pushing down here. Something is happening around the map that draws the attention of the enemy, that makes them away from a 4v4. Because what we want to do in League is to win with numbers advantage. And you know what numbers advantage is, right?
Yeah, I've played so much Overwatch. For context, I was GM1, I think the max rank you can get in Overwatch at the time. And that's basically all I did. That's like literally my job when you play. It's like you just play characters like Tracer, where you just sit on an angle, you just poke people. It doesn't matter if you get no value. If you draw 2 people, you've done your job.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. Exactly. I'm just gonna be a fly. Split pushing is the virtue of being a fly. You're just pulling attention and then creating a numbers advantage across the map. And if no one looks at you, you're 1v0, your numbers advantage. If someone looks at you, it's 1v1, you can leave and Talia cheats prior. So then you can make a numbers advantage on top by leaving, and after you finish your split push. And if not, if 2 people come like fight you, I don't know, mid or bot in this case, then numbers advantage again. Oh, this actually makes so much sense now.
I feel like you understand what you're talking about, because it makes sense to me. You're exactly saying.
This makes so much sense. This is actually all I do.
League is a team game. League is an amazing team game, but there are things that you can do solo that can cause things to happen, like what you said with Tracer. I've never played Overwatch in my life. But
don't play it, bro.
It's literally the same. It's the same process. It's like you're being an annoyance on the enemy team, causing people to come to you and causing a team fight to be a numbers advantage, where your team is fighting a 4v3 and they win because numbers advantage will always win. It'll usually always win unless you're garbage or whatever. But,
or someone's really fed.
Yeah, exactly. Unless someone's like really fed, but like numbers advantage usually just wins. This fight doesn't make sense because we're just fighting for nothing. It's like there is an objective up, but we should be fighting for the objective, not for whatever the hell's going on here, you know? We don't.
Yeah, like we can give it tier 2, right?
Yeah.
Even let's say like, you know, if we had low HP, like just give the tier 2. It's fine. Like we can move on.
Yeah, you could exactly count your losses. Your ego does not matter, and don't do this. Yeah, pretty much. Is there any other questions about this?
No, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
All right, cool. Do you know how Baron works, or do you know how? Actually, do you know why Baron is so strong?
I know Baron gives my minions extra damage and extra HP. I'm certain there's a buff to it that it gives to me as a player that I don't know about or don't remember. But all I remember is pretty much it makes my minions really tanky and really obnoxious to clear, which in turn means I can push objectives way better. So that's why I often see like, or at least what I think is, if we get Baron, we can just be really dumb, ARAM, group is 5, and just walk. Because that's so much tower pressure.
Wrong.
But maybe I'm completely wrong.
That is wrong, actually.
Oh no.
You do not want to 5v5. There is no reason to 5v5 as when you get Baron. So Baron is so strong, as you said, because of the minions. The minions are what makes Baron super strong. It allows you to push for free because it takes so long to clear them. It'll always push into the enemy, and you do not have to do a single thing. You can just let the minions do their job and push into the enemy's base. It also does give you ability power and attack damage after you guys take it. But when we take Baron, I'm just gonna, this is not part of the game, but when we take Baron, the thing that makes Baron so strong is the minions. So why don't we do something to make our minions super strong? Push every single lane at the same time.
Oh my god.
This is how you suffocate someone. This is how you suffocate them. And this is the thing. This works because people can't clear waves alone. If one person, so like let's say you're up here, there's 3 people mid, and this is usually how a Baron goes. There's one person top, there's 3 people mid, and there's 1 person bot. This is how you push as Baron. And 3 people need to be here, 1 person needs to be here, and 1 person in the enemy. This is how they need to play in order to stop a Baron. And this doesn't even work because the minions automatically will always be and
they're clearing, and if they're not clearing, they're doing damage to the guy who I'm fighting anyway.
Exactly.
So I'm naturally an advantage.
Exactly.
So I guess it makes sense. You want your strongest side lane is on 1-1, and then like the people who need to be groups are normally support and ADC, and then maybe someone else, whoever it is.
It'd usually be jungle, jungle ADC in the mid lane with support, and then this would be top laner or mid laner or whatever. It could be swap for the top and mid. But basically, this is how you would suffocate someone with the Baron. This is how you use it. And with Baron, you can play so safe. Because all you have to do is let the minions get the buff, sit far back as possible, don't fight, and the minions will automatically get the tower. And it's like, it takes so long for these guys to clear the minions that a wave after wave after wave comes, and eventually they're going to start losing things. And all you got to do is let the minions do their job. There can be a mid fight, like let's say, you know, 1 person's up here, 3 people here, and 1 person here. Let's say this person leaves your top lane and goes into the mid lane. Now we have 4 people here. This is an immediate back off from this guy, and these guys push in harder.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes it so difficult for someone to stop a Baron, you know?
Is that like also, do you find that in practice it snowballs into objectives too, like outside of towers? Because there's so much pressure from just you shoving in all these waves, and this, I guess it actually makes sense, right? For example, if you have someone who can solo Baron, you know, they shove in their wave and then they go walk back. Sorry, if they can solo a dragon, right? They shove in their wave with Baron buff, they go fight the dragon, and then you're 1-3-1, but you have 1 person on the dragon, but you still have prio in that lane, right? So
we're actually gonna talk a little bit about objectives, because this is what happens in your game. We're gonna see something that happens in your game with this Baron. You guys take it, and something happens that makes me angry because Baron is not being used properly because of a certain thing. So you guys take Baron after you guys got after you take out Jarvan, and then you guys immediately go to Otacon. This is the problem with this. Otacon, okay. What is the reason for Baron? I obviously just explained it to you. It was to shove waves in to end the game. That is what Baron is used for. It is there to end games. And this is how we do not end a game. Because this is
we're just slowing down our own Baron. Right?
Exactly. You're slowing it down, and you're sacrificing your Baron time to take an objective that they probably won't even be able to take after you shove the waves in. This is an objective we take later, you know? There's no reason to take this now. This doesn't make us... I mean, okay, it gives us a 25% boost to Baron buff, but why don't we just shove in waves, then take it, and then make our life even better? But, whatever. It's like, we shouldn't be going for objectives after we take Baron. We should be taking Baron, shoving in waves, taking towers, taking inhibs, and then going to objectives. Because then...
do the damage with the Baron, right? And then do everything else afterwards. Use the power of the Baron for what it's good for. Don't just use the fact that you have Barons, justify doing other things. So we're not actually using the Baron.
Yeah, no, you're not using it here. You're not. It's like, this is useless. And... you know, they lose their inhibs, and they are stuck in base for the next, I forgot how long inhibs take to respawn, but they're stuck in base. They get super minions going down their lane 24/7, and it's like, now they are stuck turtling for the rest of the game while you guys can just run around their jungle, take these objectives, and it's just an easier game after that. But this is why this game becomes so long. This Baron is not used properly, and you guys probably could have ended if you used it right, but that's only if you used it right. But this is the thing: you guys lose all your Baron, and you just wasted it.
Yeah,
it's just a waste. It's literally a waste.
We actually lose Baron on everyone, I think. Maybe like 2 people.
No, you still have 2 people with Baron, but they still don't use it right.
What a waste. There's literally 2 people as opposed to 5, right?
Yeah.
And they're also on my support and my ADC who want to group anyway, so naturally something's going to go wrong if they don't group.
It's like, also, it's like 2 people and the rest of your team is dead, so what's going to happen is they are going to easily shove in waves into you, and your Baron becomes absolutely useless. It's already halfway done, and no pushing has been done. And it's not even possible to do a push because it is a 5v2 at that point, you know? Yeah. So, cool.
He actually horribly entered this.
Yeah. Is there any questions about Baron?
No, that makes so much sense. I now understand how I'm meant to use Baron. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. People get it wrong a lot. It's honestly, it's just a new player thing. It's when you're a new player, or you haven't really watched a lot of pro play or how people use Baron, they don't understand what Baron gives you. It's not the strength of the... Because, like, it does give you ability power. It can give you attack damage and ability power and a power recall, but the biggest thing is the minions, and it just... literally, it's an easy suffocate the enemy by pushing down 3 waves, and they can't defend this. They're going to start losing things.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then there's only one more thing I had, which was another ARAM, but we don't have to talk about that. But that's all I have. Is there anything else? You did want to talk about one thing, which was how to team fight.
Yeah, I was just about to put myself in, because I feel like I always find myself in positions where I either pop off and kill 3 people, or I just die first. And I'm not sure. I think it happened in that game a couple times. It definitely happened in the first game. But, like, I feel like oftentimes I end up feeling, oh, I need to buy Zhonya's, I need to buy tank items, or whatever it is. Many Zhonya's, I don't get my way by Thornmail or anything, but...
yeah.
I feel like my positioning is just horrific.
You are a mage, meaning, you have a lot of range. And with that range, we can do a lot of sitting back and poking, you know? That's our job. Yeah. That's our job as a mage. But we also need to think about our cooldowns. So, and when we start team fighting, Talia is a character that isn't really good at engaging something. Something like Rakan and Vi are really good because their CC is very easy to hit, and yeah, it's just like their CC is easy to hit and they have a lot of it. You are kind of like a second man to them. You would place your E, and then you would do your W, and then they just get womboed. You know, this is a triple wombo combo on them, and that's kind of how you would fight in like a context with multiple people. But basically your positioning would be where the ADC is positioned. Like, you're basically at the same place as an ADC for the most part. But here's one point where I feel like your positioning was not good, and there's a big reason why, and also your targeting wasn't good. So coming in with this Vi is perfectly fine, but this is what we need to realize when we're coming in with this Vi, is that look how disconnected we are right here. This is super disconnected. You can see how this is all super grouped, which is really good for them, but this is disconnected. So when Vi goes in here, she needs to go in on the Nautilus. That's the only way you guys can start connecting, but you're going to have a even harder time because Corki, Bessa, Nunu can all just jump on you immediately. But
yeah, the only thing I could do is ult, and I don't even have my ult, so it's just not very easy for me to connect.
So you just need a... Actually, no, you do have your ult here. It's just on cooldown because you got hit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you actually do have
ult
here. But you should,
connect with my ADC and just relax with him and then just poke from there.
You should try to back off here. This is still okay, but at this point in time, after you use all your abilities, after you use everything, you need to start walking near your ADC, because you guys are so split up. This is so split, and it's like if they go on you, the Ezreal cannot connect with you. This guy can't help you get away or help you fight basically anymore, because they're all going to be running this way, and it's going to be harder for him to do damage. So that's why we need to somehow get over here or somehow get around, so we can actually start doing something.
Yeah, I think because I've got my cooldowns blown, right? It's kind of hard for me to rotate, but if I have my E and my W, then I could EW, shove them, stun them, and then I could rotate towards Ezreal.
Yeah, you can
but from here,
walk
it's really tricky to walk when, like, they're all in.
And obviously, it's not the same with every fight. You can do other things, like, ult them, and then be right here, and then kind of trap them from their escape. But this just, you need to play extremely safe when you're doing something like this. But for the most part, you have to stay pretty far back where Ezreal is. You kind of want to stay around where your ADC is for the most part. But you need to realize where the threats are, like Nautilus, like Nunu, like Mbessa. These guys are your threats, because Nautilus just needs to hit one thing on you, Mbessa needs to hit one thing on you, Nunu needs to hit one thing on you, and you just die. So
okay, so I've got to worry about what can engage on me, as opposed to, like, at least in this case, the ADC who can blow me up. It's more important that I just don't get caught, right? Because then I could just blast from a distance.
Exactly.
I'm not creating any risk, but I'm only creating reward by doing damage. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the longer you're alive, the more damage you do. But
yeah,
I think, and obviously it'll come with time. The more you play, the better it'll come. And maybe there's a certain situation that you might want to talk about, and we can talk about it. And
yeah, I'll try to find one.
Yeah, but
I've just been playing for like 4 months for context, if that, closer to like 3.5.
That's pretty impressive for playing 4 months. It seems like you have at least a pretty good grasp of the game in some context, I feel like.
Except for Baron, yeah.
Well, you didn't. Yeah, except for Baron, I guess. But is there any other questions that you have, or any other things that is on your mind, or anything you want to talk about in the games?
That's kind of everything. Like, I kind of know what my refereeing condition is. I get how I'm meant to roam. I kind of one-trick Talia where possible, unless I play Galio. So it's like, it's pretty fine. That makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much.